Fear is just your system keeping you safe. Remember, it doesn't know if the threat is real or perceived. And there's a lot of wisdom in fear. And the more you sit with it and learn from it and understand it, fear becomes courage. And courage is what is going to get me to stand up, walk out this door, go to this conference, and let it be whatever it's going to be. If it's great, wonderful. If it sucks, that's okay too. But whatever it's going to be is just what it's going to be. And I'm just going to allow it to be whatever it is. Hey, everybody. Jennifer Dawn here with the Happy Productive podcast, and I am coming to you today from my hotel room. I am in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm getting ready to attend the Wall Street conference as part of Media Row. And what that means is I will be available for people to interview people on the podcast. And I'm going to tell you guys today, I'm just recording this episode completely and totally unprepared. And I say that because isn't that how life is a lot of the time? In fact, I'm in my hotel room and I woke up this morning and I was honestly just racked with fear. So I know on last week's episode, we talked about slowing down, and we also talked about shifting this podcast to the deeper stuff. And I really do mean it. Like, I've changed how I work with clients. I've changed how I work with myself. And the deeper work is the most important work, in my opinion. And I take this seriously, and I do this work with myself every day. So this morning I woke up and I was just completely racked with fear. Now, fear right now is on my mind. Why? Because later today for Freedom Builders, I'm going to be teaching all about fear. So it's really present right now. And when I say present, and not in a bad way, but in a way of awareness. So when I woke up this morning and oh my gosh, you guys, it's so hard sometimes to just really sit with yourself and really feel everything that you're feeling. But I listened to several meditations. I got myself really relaxed. I slowed it down. And when I did, and I started asking myself, what are you feeling right now? And it's okay. Whatever you're feeling is okay. And there's this small voice inside that's just like, I'm afraid. I don't want to go to this conference today. I don't want to talk to people I don't know. I don't want to be seen. I don't want a bunch of men looking at me. I don't want a bunch of women looking at me and judging me, right? And I was just so racked with fear. And instead of pushing it aside, I just sat with it. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to just sit with, this is how I really feel today. I feel like a scared little kid who absolutely does not want to go to this conference, does not want to do anything. In fact, I want to call in sick. I want to make up an excuse. I want to hide in my hotel room, order room service, and just ride out the rest of this conference if I'm being completely and totally honest and vulnerable. That's how I feel today. And as I sat with those emotions, and they were fairly overwhelming, I allowed myself to feel that fear. But then I also said, all right, Jennifer, so what are all the good things that could come from this, right? This is a technique I've used in the past, and it used to work because I could just convince myself of something better, push down all those emotions and push through, right? Whatever I was doing. But now, because I've done all this work on myself, I recognize my tricks. But anyway, I still went through the exercise, and it was a lot harder to focus my mind and think of all the good that could come from this, because it would be more visibility for myself. It's helping other people get visibility. I could meet some amazing people, have some great conversations. I could possibly pick up a new client. I could meet somebody who, here's my one, like I could meet somebody who needed a team of business coaches like I have, and they could become our best client ever, right? And I started listing. It took my brain a little bit, but then I started getting into the rhythm of like, okay, this is the good that can come of it, right? Because fear is so good about all the bad things that could happen, but what are the good things that could happen? And so I made my list, and it was a good long list. And at the end of the list, you know what? I didn't feel any better. In fact, the fear said, I don't really give a fuck, Jennifer. I don't want any of those things, which isn't true. It's not true. I do want all of those good things, but the fear was just like, forget it. I don't care. I still just want to stay here and hide. And you know what? That's okay, because sometimes fear will disguise itself, and it does this. It talks us out of doing the very thing that can get us to where we want to be. And so as I sat with it a little longer and just allowed that fear to run through, I had a memory come up from when I first moved to New York and I didn't know anybody, and I wanted to meet some other business women. And so I took a train into the city, which for me was a big deal. I didn't grow up in a train city. And so taking the train into New York City all by myself for the first time ever, even as a grown adult, scared the shit out of me. And before I went into this networking meeting, because putting myself in front of a room full of strangers for me is like death. That is the worst thing ever. Now I can stand and speak in front of thousands. I don't care about that. But being in a room with strangers that you have to actually approach and introduce yourself and like networking and stuff like that, I just don't like it. So going into the city and meeting a room full of women I'd never met, I remember that I was walking to the location after I got myself turned in the right direction in the city when you come up out of the subway, and I found a Barnes and Noble. And I went and I found a corner in Barnes and Noble and I hid. I literally hid. And I called my husband and I was just like, honey, I am terrified. I'm really scared. And for me to even admit that I was scared was a big deal. And my husband, bless him, gave me permission to come home. He said, it's okay, honey. You don't have to do this. Like, you can come home. It's okay. And just the act of him giving me permission to do that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what happened, but it gave me courage. And I stepped into that. I went to that meeting. Was it fun? No, it wasn't fun. But at the door, I gave my card to the founder. And a few weeks later, she ended up calling me and she offered me a position in the company. And I ended up finding my love of coaching, and that ended up being how my coaching practice was born. And as I sat with it this morning and really felt all those initial fears, right? All that stuff was coming up, and I realized, oh, this is my body ready to clear all of the stuff that I have been holding on to for like 15 years, right? I've been holding on to that fear. It's ready to clear. And that's okay. Clearing doesn't always feel good either, and that's okay too. So as I sat a little bit longer with it, I still wasn't 100% better. And so I decided to do what I did before, which was reach out for help. And so I called my husband and I was like, I am scared right now. And he coached me and it was really good. And the things that I was trying to do, like finding the flip side and sitting with my emotions and doing all of that, wasn't really getting me to where I needed to be. And so he told me two things that was really, really important. And I have to say, first of all, you guys, reaching out for help was hard. My husband and I have been together for a long time right now. We're going through a change in our marriage. We're living separately, very intentionally, very lovingly. No long-term decisions have been made. We're actually very grateful for this time apart. And I love him very much. He loves me very much. So calling him was actually a real moment for me to let those walls down, be vulnerable, reach out and ask for help. And I know you guys have been there before when you're really struggling. And the last thing that you want to do is be vulnerable and reach out and ask for help. My clients do it all the time. They reach out, and that's what coaching's all about, is having somebody that you can talk to and help create safety and flush these things out. And so I reached out, and the two things that he shared with me were, number one, just take it one moment at a time. Just breathe and take it one moment at a time. See, making me emotional. That's okay too. Just take it 1 minute at a time. Breathe, get quiet, get really present. That was the first thing that really helped. When you're dealing with massive fear, you guys, and it doesn't matter if it's a real threat or a perceived threat, because I know this is a perceived threat. I know this is no big deal. I'm going to have a fine day. It's all going to be fine. I know this. This is not a lion trying to eat me. I understand that. But our nervous systems don't know the difference between a perceived threat and a real threat. So when I tell you that this tidal wave of fear feels very real, very overwhelming, it's for real. So, and I know you've experienced it too, and I want to validate, when you felt this before, it's real, and I get it. So breathe. Breathing's really important. Shrug your shoulders, relax your jaw. Breathe. Breathe into that fear and just sit with it. And as you breathe, you start to create space. And very intentionally just slow it down, right? Slow down. and breathe. That was the first thing. And just take it 1 minute at a time. And in this minute, look around. Look around at your surroundings. Look at the wall, look at the ceiling, look at the floor, look at the silly phone in front of me, and just be really present. And just look at your surroundings and remind yourself that you're safe and you're okay. And just take it 1 minute at a time and look around, be present, breathe. And you know what? That did it. And I told my husband, all right, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go cry in the shower for a little bit. And then I'm going to pull myself together and I'm going to fix my hair, put on a little stupid makeup, which I don't do very often and I'm not that great at, and get myself dressed, and just one step at a time. I'm actually testing my my Riverside to make sure it records on my phone, because I've never had to record a podcast in a booth before, and that's how I'm going to be doing it today, and fingers crossed it all goes good. And I decided to record an episode before the Wall Street conference because it'll be really interesting to see the interviews that I do during the conference today. And even if I don't do any, that's okay. Even if I do 20, it's okay. And what really matters is that fear, when you learn how to not just face it, but understand it, to work with it, and really appreciate it, because fear is just your system keeping you safe. Remember, it doesn't know if the threat is real or perceived. And there's a lot of wisdom in fear. And the more you sit with it and learn from it and understand it, fear becomes courage. And courage is what is going to get me to stand up, walk out this door, go to this conference, and let it be whatever it's going to be. If it's great, wonderful. If it sucks, that's okay too. But whatever it's going to be is just what it's going to be. And I'm just going to allow it to be whatever it is. And I hope that if you are faced with fear, I hope that you learn about it. And if you want to learn about it, come talk to me. Come join me inside of Freedom Builders. You can always get on my website, jenniferdawncoaching.com. Book a connection call. It is not a high pressure bullshit sales call. We don't do any of that crap. It is a connection call to have a conversation with you about where you're at. We might be a fit, we might not, and that's okay. And we have 3 beautiful coaching packages, and they are designed to be affordable because we want to make our coaching services available, and not only for the elite or the super, super wealthy. So it all just starts with a connection call. And I promise that no matter what, you'll feel better at the end of the call, whether you work with us or not. And when it comes down to fear, I hope that you sit with this. I hope you learn about fear. I'm going to be teaching it later today, that you learn to make fear your friend, that you learn how to use fear, and that it becomes slowly over time courage, and that you learn how to appreciate fear for the gift that it is. All right, that's it, you guys, for today's episode. I'm going to walk my ass out this door, go meet some people at the Wall Street conference, and not conquer my fear, but sit with it, feel grateful for it. The gratitude comes after. My husband had suggested gratitude earlier when we spoke, and I wasn't ready for gratitude, and that was okay. But now, as I'm sitting in it, I really feel the gratitude. Thank you, fear, for keeping me safe. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for all the things that you do for me. So you too can make fear your friend. That's it for today's episode. Get out there. Thank you for listening, and have a happy, productive day, y'all. Bye. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to have you join us inside Freedom Builders, my coaching community for entrepreneurs who are ready to slow it on down, do the inner work, and build soul-aligned businesses that are happy, productive. Everything you need is linked below in the description, or you can visit my website at jenniferdawncoaching.com. I hope to see you there.